slave. You've been tasked with a very important duty, you hear? Our queen has been quite generous to allow you such access, so don't go making a mockery of her kindness. You and your blessed faction, with your God-given abilities. Just get to healing the queen's pet, and no funny business warrior about it, or you're gonna find yourself at the end of a bloody lance in my dome. I'll be back to collect you in no time at all, so get to work.
Brave hero, can you hear me? Oh, when they said you had fallen unconscious due to that vile queen's literal hold on you, I couldn't believe it, but seeing you now like this, so pale and worn out, oh my, what has she been doing to you? I've heard the stories from the other slaves, how she is a ruthless killer who uses others for sport. I hate to think that she had been treating you in such a way. I was able to sneak down the hallway a bit when her generals were holding us captive to hear of your fate, while reveling in their drunkenness. Their attention waned, you understand, and I crept off to see if I could find you at the behest of our barbarian. She had seen you taken captive when all the others had not. Even I assumed you dead after that demon unleashed her flames upon us in the highest tower, but Gernard, she witnessed you taken within the depths of the castle and knew that something was afoot. I have failed to gather any news for her until now, but is it not most fortuitous that you were taken so ill that our captors had to depend on my healing abilities to save you? And are we not so blessed to have such a wise and intuitive barbarian? She is heaven sent, if I have ever seen a party member. Well, aside from yourself, of course, my wondrous hero. She cannot compare to your leadership and cunning nature, and if I were not sworn to serve my divine lord and him only, I would not hesitate to shower you with more of the praise you so clearly deserve, especially after having to weather the horrid treatment I'm sure this putrid queen has heaped upon you. She really is the worst, isn't she? Such revealing clothing, and lewd expressions so unbecoming of a monarch. I can clearly see why our most noble king has deemed her such a threat to the youths of our great nation, and... Oh dear, in my passions I forgot that you're nearly dying right in front of me. Please allow me to heal your illness right away. As I was saying, it is true that the queen's attire is not all that different from my own in design and exposure. As you know, bosoms are considered sacred, and it is the duty of a priestess of holy light to accentuate her chaste breasts in celebration of the gift of fertility that our Lord has bestowed upon us. But for that demon, that woman, to show off her body in such a way, clearly as a means to tempt the males of her species. Oh, and of course I would never think that you, dear hero, would be tempted by her illicitly curvaceous figure. Of course not, as you, like myself, serve our holy and virtuous God, one of such pure goodness that devotion to such a being surely drives out all lascivious behaviors. Oh, that is not to say that I consider myself to be impregnable simply because I have given my life to such a glorious God. But I do know my own weakness for certain people, things. But you are so strong and pure-willed that, well, I heard of the soul-bonding ceremony that she forced upon you, and yet I am sure you were untouched by the evil tendrils of her magic. In fact, yes, I can feel it upon your very body. Your soul is Damaged, yes, but intact. Truly, you are an amazing sight, my hero, to withstand such trials, and still to come out as unblemished as fresh winter snow. Admirable, most admirable. I did arrive thinking that I might strive to undo whatever hold her magic had upon you, but surely there is nothing for me to fix. Well, aside from the poison of her touch. You were quite brave to hold such a festerous hand as hers for so long during your last encounter. Her overwhelming and rotten power did quite a number on your weakened body. Why can she not see that you two are simply not meant to coexist? Not that you would want to, of course. Someone as disgusting as her. I'm very sorry, blessed hero, but did I just hear you correctly? Did you ask me to speak of her in a more kindly manner? Are you defending her? The woman who laid our companions to ashes. You asked that I refer to her as Queen Anaratha and nothing less? Perhaps I was wrong, and her magic has overtaken your mind somehow. Let me look over your body again, if you will permit me to do so. Ah, yes, I see it now. There is a darkness where once there was light in your, most private places. That wench, I mean, Queen... Can't you see what she has done to you? These feelings are not your own, and I cannot associate such changes with the man that I know you to be. One who is kind and believes in what is just and right. One who observes the holy practices of our church and would never have present in his veins such aroused tempers. I simply don't understand it. I slept near you every night for as long as we were traveling, and yet I never sensed such passions. Oh, what was I saying? Nothing at all. I was simply trying to think of a way to free you from these mental shackles she has forged without harming your spirit in the process. Maybe... Yes, maybe if your body were to come into divine contact with a pure being, one devoted to a life of holiness, that could cleanse you of these hellish urges and loyalties, I would be willing to offer up my form in such a way, for the sake of saving you, of course, and no other reason. Perhaps if we were to quickly bond to one another, as only wedded humans do, sharing our bodies with each other, and thusly washing our souls clean, with an act of such righteous desperation we might make progress. I know that in forfeiting my precious virginity that I would lose both my status as a priestess and my healing abilities, but is not saving your soul a more noble cause? Surely, if you were to taste the pure light of my untouched flesh, then you would not crave the dark delights of such a carnal queen. Right, adventurer? It must stand that my sacrifice would be enough to save you.
Time's up. If he ain't healed by now, then your holy miracles are nothing but talk. Either way, your slave's chains are summoning you back to servitude. Don't make me come in there to retrieve you.
Oh dear, so soon? moment, O Scorpion King. I'll be but a moment. Please, do think about my offer, and try not to let yourself fall further into depravity in my absence. I will tell them that you require more healing sessions so that I may have access to you anon. Be brave and steadfast, my wondrous hero. I shall return as soon as I am able.